intolerance. Intolerance. She's blaming others for intolerance with language like, I mean, don't they? It's no wonder that MSNBC is crashing.
Right.
It's no wonder. The wonder is that she's still on air.
Well, that's it. Whether you're a Democrat, if you voted for Trump or you didn't, and lots of people obviously didn't, but part of it is because of that kind of rhetoric. You listen to that, and it is, the end of life on Earth. It is, an asteroid hitting us.
The end of the world as we know it.
This is what creates mental health issues, right? It's a dynamic where you're watching that, and it becomes almost an addiction because of the adrenaline that happens with fear, of which I've written a book about, of course, is the use of that kind of fear to control people. The good news is that there's a point when there's alternatives like Fox and or internet or whatever you want to do, where you decide that's not good enough.
Yeah.
That you can choose to not jump into that pit and not be miserable.
Yeah.
I think that's why it's not working. That you could be debating and not agree and all of that, but why should you move through life miserable and not wanting to get out from under the covers?
Folks, choose not to be miserable.
Yeah.
It's very simple.
It doesn't mean you have to agree with us.
You can make that choice not to be miserable. All right, the White House press corps, this one kills me, reportedly already exhausted 2 months before the inauguration of a Trump second term. One New York Times reporter saying, quote, anybody who went through it the last time remembers how it was nonstop. Tammy, I remember a lot of questions about ice cream. I remember a lot of questions about, are you going in for a dip in the water?
That's right.
I mean, no wonder they're exhausted. They have to ask real questions this time. See,
that's it. This is when you're not looking at a template, when you don't have the talking points, when you don't even if someone comes out and does, it's like Nancy Pelosi. She made news on occasion, but it was about the ice cream in her freezer, right? It's these easy things. And when you agree with the nature of what the mission is, you tend to not have to think about hard questions, because your job is to not ask the hard questions, not to anticipate what the answer would be, and then what do you do with an answer that you don't like and might be complicated?
Yeah.
And so it is exhausting. And people in the New York Times complaining about it being exhausting, that tells you everything you need to know.
Right.
They've complied so much, and they've become, puppies.
Yeah.
And now puppies.
Well, they're just spitting out PR from the administration, and there wasn't any real journalism going on. I got to ask finally about the Europeans, because it's not just here. 300,000 European journalists have gotten together and said they're leaving Ex Post because it's not woke enough for them. What do you make of that? 300,000.
Good. It'll be kind of nicer without them. I like Europeans. I like certain Europeans. I'll just leave it at that. But I think that this is where you have a tantrum, where you become used to having. It seems like everyone thinks like you, and that's what censorship brings. It brings this false sense that everyone thinks just like you do. It is a shock to find out that not only has that been false, but it changes the entire worldview. Right. You can either choose to withdraw from life or to not.
This is a worldwide dilemma that we're involved in. Very quickly, what's the name of the book again?
Fear Itself.
Fear Itself.
Thank you, David.
Great line from FDR, going back to that point of our history.